Hi there, I am Edric. I'm the current Kingdom social media officer for the Kingdom of the Outlands. Just wanted to do a general session here on the Kingdom's social media platforms and kind of give information about what this office entails, responsibilities, and what role we have and for communication as part of the kingdom and our individual groups. Now I know I recognize Diana from Bringalab, but are you or do we have all kingdom SMOs here today? Both of you? I missed that. I didn't hear. I
Yeah, we saw you unmute, but we're not hearing any sound
Yep.
coming through.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, there you are now.
There you
Now
go.
you're
There
coming
I am.
through.
Yeah, this is I
Oh.
don't have a social media account. I'm not a
He's just-
deputy, but I'm here to learn.
He's just spying on me. It's what he's doing. I think it's what he's doing.
Yes, with my name out in the open.
Yeah,
It's,
Right.
I was gonna
Well,
say,
it's a Y normally for me. So
I know, I was gonna say, now I know how to spell UA.
yeah. And good to see you, Diana, and I appreciate it. Diana is really one of the social media officers that are quite active in posting the stuff that I asked to share. So I really appreciate that. But what I wanted to do is really go through how the office is set up. The office for the social media officer is set up through the Seneschal, the Kingdom Seneschal. So I report to the Seneschal and give her general updates about what's going on, or if I have issues, that's the person I go to in the kingdom for those sort of things. Under myself, then we have the group social media officers, the baronial social media officers, Bringalai and Abron and all those each have a SMO assigned to them, or are currently looking for some. There's some groups that are looking for an SMO. Underneath the baronial, there are cantons and colleges. Bladewind, right now, I'm not sure if Bladewind has one going forward, but I've been trying to post to them as well. And then we have Shire SMOs and Crown colleges, but I don't think we have any of those at the moment. But underneath the SMOs, what our primary function is just to give information out the kingdom, which is to send out to your groups, your local groups, or give SCA messages or announcements out. I don't. My thought really is that the SMO or the social media platforms that we do have are only tools to use in addition to the official kingdom announcements. I would point to any of the kingdom announcements on the website rather than say that anything from Facebook is official, right? So Facebook is just an additional tool for we can use to get communication out, but is not shouldn't be the primary information source. We will always want to point toward the kingdom's webpage or the kingdom event page, and those specific sources for any new updates or any new information. We are here to help get the word out because there are some people who like to use Facebook and like to use social media, Instagram, and those sorts of things. But yes, we are a tool. We are just an additional source of information to help get the word out for events or any other announcements going through. Now, when we speak, we're SMOs for the group, we do want to speak in that voice. We want to make sure that when we're using the platforms, we're speaking to those specific audiences. We want to make sure that if we're in that, specifically in Facebook, the admin, and you're talking as a page, or you're talking as the group admin, that you want to always use that official voice. Not use I statements, but talking of their person and the barony is looking for, or the barony is seeking, or the barony is making this announcement. Because this is not you speaking; you're speaking for the platform, right? You want to be professional and courteous. You want to also moderate the discussion groups, especially, and you want to moderate the page if you have the discussion commenting turned on. Really, we want to present the core values of the SCA to the audience. And you can always find the core values in the SCA Kapora listed in that document there. The currently approved platforms in the current Outlands handbook are listed as Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, Instagram, Meetup, and Google+. And right now, I do understand that Google+ is not a thing. They pulled that application off off their site. So I do need to revise the current handbook to ensure everything that is approved platforms are reflected here on this new handbook. So I am going to be, I have been in the process of amending the handbook for a little bit now. We have a new society social media policy out there. I want to make sure that I have touched on every one of those things that they've updated in that bigger document going forward. But Marley has done a great job with this book, with this handbook here, and I just want to make sure it's updated and make sure that we all have an understanding of what we need to do. So going back to the discussion groups or even the pages, speaking in the official voice, the pages should be the official source for your information for the social media announcements and events, right? That's Facebook specific. Now, of course, when you have Pinterest or you have Twitter, you can just post small snippets of information to those platforms there, or send specific events and share specific events to those. That's fine. But Facebook in general, discussing about outward facing pages or discussion groups, I've noticed that some of the groups are saying unofficial, quote unquote, unofficial discussion group of such and such barony or shire. But just remember that if you are sharing any events or SCA related content to your unofficial group, you are effectively making those groups official by doing that. So just be aware of that. Those discussion groups, if you're sharing the fire practices, if you're sharing the events on those quote unquote official groups, you are making that group official. Just be aware of that. It's spelled out directly in the social media handbook for the Outlands and presences. And also, I think the new social media policy even talks about profiles that could be linked back to the SCA by using your heraldry on your profile picture or using your SCA name. That can be also identified as being connected to the SCA. So be aware of that. There are required disclaimers to have on those pages, on the branch pages for the official groups, and even for the discussion groups, there's required disclaimers you have on that. And I am in the process of making sure that there's the requirements for all the pages and groups are following the required policy. And I am about ready to start conducting small little audits on each group and setting them, doing a checklist and having a discussion with the SMO and trying to make sure that each group page or social media application is falling in line with the required policy and is following all the rules and cleaning up any areas that need to be addressed. So that's going to be coming soon. Just be aware. It's been a little while since I've been SMO, but we, in the midst of COVID, there wasn't really much to do. No events to post or no announcements to make, honestly, except for sometimes the King or Queen would like to share a announcement or a video, and those things we would try to get out as quickly as possible. Admin permissions. So it's really good as part of the book to have at least the SMO, the Kingdom SMO, as part of your admin for that group page or discussion group. What we've been doing for Facebook in particular is adding the admin privileges to the for the discussion group from the page. So if you have a discussion group, you want to make the official page one of the admins on the group discussion forum. That way you give, I guess, the connection between admins on that page also gives them connection to that group discussion group without having to worry about adding specific people or not. That way I can control the admins for the pages and not have to worry about the discussion group because it's already kind of integrated in with by adding the pages as a admin. That works out relatively well, but I've also noticed that there's a lot of admins on the pages and a lot of moderators associated with some of the pages that we have here, and that can get a little bit tricky. We want to probably limit the amount of admins and moderators we have, just for the fact that those pages are official and something happens and an admin can remove several people. That's one of the powers they have, is to remove people. We want to be very careful on who we add admins and moderators to your pages. So that's going to be part of the audit, and we have those discussions as we go forward in the future here. Content that we present should be official content. It should also talk in the official voice. We want to make sure that it's all within the policies or procedures of courteous speaking, along with the core values. We want to make sure that any of the discussion are moderated to make sure that any of that information is very courteous and moderated. We have the power to remove posts, and we can do that. But just remember, if we do that as moderators, we want to make sure that there's a reason for it behind it. You should cite policy, or you should cite the handbook whenever you can. In all cases when you're taking action, especially for actions that you're blocking people from the group. Now remember that needs to be reported. Any blocking of individuals from a group needs to be reported, and I have to have that report, and I have to give that to the SCA social media officer and be reported to them. So just be aware that those need to be, if you're blocking anybody from your page, your official outward facing pages, you need to let us know and send me an email generally and give me the report of what happened, so that I am aware and I can send that report upwards. So really, that's really I want to make sure that just give them some information about our responsibilities as SMOs for the kingdom. We are here to help the official to help get official announcements out or information out as a tool, not as a primary source. We also want to put those information sources back to the kingdom webpage. That way there is no confusion about information, right? So if you have an event that you've posted through Facebook, of course we only do those when it's posted to the kingdom calendar, and I will make the group the co-host. And if anything changes, we always want to make sure that that's pointed out directly to the website or the event webpage that shares that information. And feel free to interject questions, please. I know I'm just talking just to talk, but I just wanted to give some information out, in general information, not an official training per se, but just some information about what this job entitles and what this responsibilities are for being a social media officer in your group. Now we know that social media is an ever-changing animal, and there's always other platforms, but the SCA has very specific right now has very specific platforms that can be used. Now, right now, some of the groups are using some of the other platforms, but I would just make sure that if you are going to use the other platforms, that you let me know what platforms you want to use, and also have me included as part of the moderators or admins, or however the platform calls them or identifies them. So right now, the current SCA platforms are Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Meetup, Pinterest, YouTube, Discord, and TikTok. Now, I don't know if any of our SMOs have used TikTok, but I do know we have a Discord and we have several channels in there. I do see a question from Baku. Go ahead, Baku.
Yeah, I was wondering, what have people used to replace people who were comfortable with Yahoo groups, but didn't want to go to Facebook?
So I think what me and Carlos have kind of talked about that. I think what the forums can offer for the Outlands forums on the webpage is there is a option where you can subscribe to that specific forum or all the forums if you wanted to, and it will send you an email whenever that discussion is updated. Now I've been trying to include current events, and I just need to get back to that practice since we're back kind of in full swing. I've had a whole bunch of new events pop up and announcements pop up, but Carlos is pretty good about putting those announcements right on the front page of the web page. But the forums is really a good place to kind of like a discussion group. If you want an email to go there, I think that would be a best place. But there's nothing that's really replaced that. I mean, if a group wants to do something on their own, that's up to the group. But there's
Is
no
the forums the
official-
thing that's, those are those discussion groups that are built in the Outlands website itself? Is that what you're referring to?
Right, it's what are they called?
Okay.
They are called forums, right? Yeah, the discussion forum. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
the
have
ones that are right on the, they're on the Outlands Kingdom page. Okay.
so I have tested it
So
with
try to drive
Carlos.
people there.
Yeah, you know, there are several sections there where you can post for different offices and different topics there. And I've subscribed myself to a few of the things to test it, and it does work. So whenever somebody posts there or replies, and if you're subscribed to it, I do get an email with that information.
It's just not super active at this point, I guess.
Right, it's not, and no, and that's the reason why I haven't really, you know, I'm trying to use it more so that I can get people to use it because it is there and it's another useful tool for us. I know the other groups are missing the Yahoo thing, but I think that with the number of social media platforms that are there and the main webpage being updated so regularly now, I think that we want to point them to the main webpage and the forums if at all possible. Go ahead. Sorry. Oh. So yeah, I was.
No, that was it.
Okay, thank you. I was talking about TikTok. I don't know of any of these groups here, Dana or any of the others. I think Dana's the only SMO I have here. I haven't heard of any other group using TikTok at this point, and that's another currently approved platform the SCA has. Now, I don't have that in the handbook currently, but I will be adding it because it conforms with their policy. But yes, we have a multitude of platforms that we can do right now. We are currently active on Facebook. We are currently active on Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest and YouTube. I do have a YouTube deputy that helps with that. And we are active on Discord as well. We have several smaller discussion groups and text chat groups for each little group inside Discord, which is really nice. And Mistress Melodia is the one that set that up originally and is helping moderate that too. So I really appreciate that. But yes, there's not much activity on Discord, but you know, we have plenty of sources to help get information out on there. Do we have any questions so far?
Not so far.
Okay.
Not for me anyway.
So yeah, that's really the presentation I have for you, is giving the roles and responsibilities of what we do, kind of be here to answer questions and let you know that I am currently working on amendments to our current handbook and working on amendments to the policy based on the SCA's policy that they just submitted or that they just sent out in September. So if anybody needs those documents, just let me know. I can be reached. I'll put the email address inside the chat box right here. If you need, if any of the officers here need anything posted or need me to get an announcement out throughout the groups, I am the person that is willing to help and get that out. And I also will talk to Carlos if a very important announcement is to get on the webpage and have him post it on that webpage as part of the official announcements as well. I think that's important that the webpage get updated first, and then we just supplement that information on the social media platforms.
So Edric, I do have a quick question. Have they addressed any of the, I know, gosh, last year, I think I saw their TikTok ended up being sent out as a be aware, in terms of security and that kind of stuff. Is there any concern if that been brought up at all in terms of using that as a forum that we get into? Just because I've heard things in the past that says that the security on that particular platform is not the best.
Right, there was some discussion about that, but at this point, that and I can also put a question out to the other social media officers. I haven't heard of any other kingdom using TikTok, and I have very few people that I know that use it in particular for their groups, and like I said, none of our groups use it as far as I'm aware. But yeah, I am aware of those discussions on the concerns about that on the TikTok portion of that. Carlos, do you have something to add about that? Is that
There you go. Helps unmute myself twice. Another problem with TikTok is that the algorithm can get really weird. And a lot of Hema people get banned when they pull out a sword because it's a
Sure.
weapon, clearly. And so that really limits the amount of stuff we can talk about and show on that forum, which is fine. It's a private enterprise. They've got their rules. The concerns a lot of people had were it's Chinese owned and state spying and all that, which I don't know if it's really been addressed. But the bigger concern from our standpoint that I see is that you could just having a wall hanger on the wall in the back of the shot could possibly flag the channel and done, which would be strange, but that's where we're at.
right? Thank you, Carlos. I appreciate that. Yeah, I am aware of their monitoring practices, and yeah, I'm aware of those sorts of things. Like I said, none of my group has any of these groups have had it, and that's a discussion I can have with our seneschal whether or not she had that in our handbook as an official platform, and we can probably make that discussion or decision based on our discussion there. Again, I just want to make sure I had some general information out to all of you all, and make you aware that I am trying to make an effort to get us back on the right path here with the new policies and new standards that are coming out with the groups. So there's been a lot of information coming out, and there's been a lot of announcements that have been made in the groups. So I really appreciate the SMOs that are getting that information out.
Hey, Adric,
Is that Jethro?
is Reddit on the list yet, or no?
No, not yet.
Okay, do you know if it will be
Yeah.
added?
Yeah, Reddit is not on the approved platform.
Okay.
Do I have any other questions or comments or suggestions for policy or handbook changes from the SMOs that are here? Or even the web minister? I mean, I'm open to suggestions at this point.
I was thinking of trying to figure out some way to echo announcements that go on Facebook onto our website. I haven't quite figured it out yet, but I was thinking that'd be kind of a cool thing where if people didn't want to get a Facebook account, at least they could see the things that were posted there.
It normally should be
I'm
the
quite-
other way around.
Yeah,
But also, if we
Yeah,
to automate it, Facebook keeps changing the tools because
Yeah.
they don't want
yeah.
you to share the experience anywhere else other than Facebook.
Yeah.
The problem is that there used to be a widget that you could use for the web page, but now that's like Carlos said, they keep changing. just recently, I've noticed that Facebook has changed the UI for the groups and it's completely different. And I'm having a hard time already finding things that I used to be able to find easily from the front facing page. Now I can't find, I gotta go digging for the information. And I don't know, Van, have you noticed that your group format has changed, or if that's just me, but the banner is no longer at the top, it's off the side with all the menu items off to the left now. And it's just really odd that they do these things and make it more difficult for us to find things or to, well, they think that it's more useful, but it's not really to me. They had a good.
We programmers
UI.
call that being agile.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Just today I was noticing that the page of the group discussion group pages have changed, and I was very annoyed because I couldn't find some information I needed for today.
Well, it's like a scavenger hunt, it's like a game.
Yeah, go digging for menu through menu through menu. Yeah.
They should give you like a loot crate or something, when you
Yeah, that'd be awesome, right?
find it.
With an achievement made, you found the membership
Achievement
list.
is scored. Yes, you found the button that you knew how to do before, but now you don't. Yes.
Yeah. I am essentially done with my presentation, unless there's other questions or comments that you take from the group.
So I'm going to stop recording at this point, Edric, if there's
Okay.
no major questions, and then you can people can just chat. So hold on.